Welcome to Mythos AI, your source for Cliff's Notes on complex subjects. Join Anna and Phil for yet another engaging conversation.
Okay, so ready to dive into this one? Because today we're tackling Albus Dumbledore. Dumbledore, everyone thinks they've got him figured out.
Oh, totally.
Right. The twinkly eyes, the lemon drops. He's practically a literary poster child for wise old wizard.
Yeah, especially the way we first meet him in the books.
Exactly, but buckle up, because this deep dive, we're going way past the surface.
We are. This is about to get complicated.
Because, let's be real, this is a character who makes you question if the ends always justify the means. And nowhere is that more apparent than with good old Albus.
Yeah, and you almost can't help but trust him at the start.
Right.
Like, Rowling really sets him up as this unshakable rock for Harry, especially in that world of uncertainty. Think about it. He's this voice of calm when everything's going haywire, right when Harry needs it most.
Oh, 100%. It's like that scene in the hospital wing.
Yes.
After Harry's first face-off with Voldemort. The kid's just orphaned, utterly terrified. And there's Dumbledore, comforting hand, words about love's power. You can't help but be drawn in.
It's masterful the way Rowling does it.
Yeah.
Because that moment, it kind of sets the stage for their whole relationship, doesn't it?
Totally. And you're spot on about love being this, central theme. It's almost like this core value Dumbledore's got woven into his being, and he's passing it on to Harry.
Right.
But
there's a flip side.
oh, yeah.
It's going to get really interesting when we get there.
Look, we're getting there. But before we unpack all that, because it's a lot, I think we got to acknowledge how perfectly Rowling makes Dumbledore seem infallible, especially early on with Harry. It's masterful.
It is.
The mirror of Arised scene.
Perfect example.
Right. Everyone else is enchanted by illusions, lost in what they want.
And then there's Dumbledore.
Seeing straight through it all. Gently steering Harry towards, understanding how dangerous those what-ifs can be.
And that's what makes him such a great mentor for young readers especially, right?
Totally.
He's like this unwavering moral guide. Always seems to know the right way to go, even when everything's going to pieces around them.
It makes you want to just reach into the book and grab his robes, Like maybe some of that wisdom will rub off.
Right. But here's where it gets interesting. This whole image, this Dumbledore we think we know, it's built on what we don't know about him. It's like the illusion of perfection, carefully crafted because we're seeing it through Harry's eyes. And the readers, too. We only know what he lets us know.
Yeah, it's like we're set up to see him a certain way, and then bam, Rowling hits us with these curveballs that make you question everything.
Right. Like we're conditioned to trust him, and then suddenly, maybe not so much.
Exactly. And I think the biggest example of that, the one that really throws a wrench in the whole Dumbledore's perfect thing, is the prophecy.
Oh, for sure. The prophecy about Harry and Voldemort. Talk about a game changer.
Totally. Neither can live while the other survives. That line, it's like this looming shadow over everything.
Totally. And here's the thing. Dumbledore, he knows about it all along.
Right. From the start. He even tells Harry, remember, that it's what brought him to Godric's Hollow that night.
Exactly.
But
he's going there to protect them, right?
Right. At least that's what it seems like at first.
Right. And that fits the Dumbledore we think we know at that point, the protector, the one with all the answers. But then he keeps this massive, life-altering prophecy from Harry for years, a prophecy that literally dictates Harry's whole life. And Dumbledore just sits on it.
It's huge, E.E. Like, if he really cared that much, why wouldn't he tell him?
Right. It makes you wonder, what's the angle here? And that's where Dumbledore's character takes this turn, especially as the books go on. It's like he's playing this massive chess game against Voldemort.
Oh, for sure.
And he's convinced that if Harry knew, it'd be too much.
Too much to handle, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. So Dumbledore takes it upon himself to, manage things, control how it all plays out.
Even if it means keeping Harry in the dark.
That's the question, isn't it? Because he truly believes he's doing what's best, making the hard calls to defeat Voldemort, even if, maybe, those calls aren't his to make.
It's that whole greater good thing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like, where's the line between strategy and just manipulation? When does wanting to control everything cross over into hurting the people you're trying to protect?
$1 million question, right?
Yep.
And it's not just a prophecy either. Think about the Horcrux hunt in Half-Blood Prince.
Oh, good point.
It's like Dumbledore is constantly feeding Harry information, but always just a little at a time, always a step ahead. Never shows his whole hand.
Totally. Those cryptic lessons about Voldemort's past, it's like he's prepping Harry for a battle, but won't say exactly what the battle eyes us.
Exactly.
It's kind of messed up when you think about it.
Totally. And that's when that image of Dumbledore, the kindly mentor, it starts to crumble.
Yeah.
Because we see how calculating he can be, how far he'll go to make sure things go his way, even if it means using the people he claims to care about.
Even Harry.
Especially Harry. It's like
Yeah.
the ends justify the means, right? At least in Dumbledore's mind. But it makes you wonder, what made him think that way? What happened to make him believe that kind of control was the only way? And that's where understanding Dumbledore's past, and I mean really understanding it, well, let's just say things are about to get interesting.
You can't really separate who Dumbledore, the choices he makes from the stuff he's been through. It's all connected.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's where Grindelwald comes in.
Yeah.
Because he's not just some, like, evil wizard that Dumbledore put away in the past, right?
Right.
Their whole relationship. That's the key to really getting Dumbledore. Understanding how he sees the world, why he does what he does.
Because for so long, Grindelwald is just this name, this scary story.
Yeah.
And then we get these little pieces about them, about their history. And it's like, whoa, Dumbledore wasn't always the goody two-shoes we thought, you know?
Exactly. He had his own ambitions back then, even a thirst for power, just like Grindelwald.
And not just any power, right? The Deathly Hallows. These mythical objects that supposedly give you mastery over death itself.
Oh, yeah. Young Dumbledore, he was drawn to them, just like Harry would be.
It's true.
Believed they held the answer, the way to make the world better, but that better world involved wizards being in charge of everything.
For the greater good.
There it is again.
Right. But hearing it like this, in the context of Dumbledore's past, it's chilling. It makes you think about how easy it is to twist good intentions, you know?
Yeah.
How wanting power too much, it can mess even the smartest people up.
And it all leads to this one awful moment that changes Dumbledore forever. The death of his sister, Ariana.
Yeah, that whole thing, it's so shrouded in sadness. You know, like we hear about it, but it's never fully spelled out in the books.
And maybe there's a reason for that. It's Dumbledore's biggest wound. What we do know is there was a duel. Albus, his brother Aberforth, and Grindelwald. And Ariana, she got caught in the crossfire.
It makes you think, even with magic, some things you can't fix, and how that, losing Ariana like that, how it messed Dumbledore up inside.
It had to. That's the thing about guilt, right? It sticks with you.
Yeah.
Shapes you. And for Dumbledore, I think that's where his need to control everything comes from. That fear of screwing up again, of letting someone else get hurt because of him.
So every decision he makes, every secret he keeps, every risk, it's all because of Ariana.
In a way, yeah. He's not just battling Voldemort out there. He's battling himself.
Yeah.
Those echoes of the past, trying to make things right that can't be made right. It's kind of tragic when you think about it.
And then this is huge, E. Dumbledore's planned death. Talk about a long con.
Right. It's a shock for Harry, but Dumbledore, he orchestrated that whole thing.
But why? I mean, it wasn't just to protect Harry, right?
Oh, it went way beyond that. Think about it. That curse on the ring, that Horcrux.
Yeah.
He knew his time was limited, so he made his death part of the plan to take out Voldemort. But there are other layers too, right?
Yeah, like what about Draco?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dumbledore knew Voldemort wanted Draco to kill him. This way, Draco wouldn't have that blood on his hands. And Snape. It solidified Snape's position with Voldemort. Dumbledore was playing 3D chess while everyone else was stuck on checkers.
It's a lot. Like, part of you is impressed, right? The way he planned it all out, even his own death, but...
It's also kind of messed up.
Yeah. Like, was all that manipulation, all those secrets, really okay? Even if he did save the world?
It's the question, isn't it? Dumbledore makes us wrestle with that.
Yeah.
Like, what's the line? Can you really justify doing bad things for a good outcome? Especially when you're deciding for other people.
It's heavy stuff. We started thinking Dumbledore was this perfect guy, and now...
Now we see the cracks.
Yeah. He's brilliant, he's powerful, but he's also kind of a jerk sometimes.
And that's what makes him fascinating. He's not just a character, he's like a reflection of us. We all want to be the hero, but what happens when the hero makes mistakes? When they do things that aren't so heroic?
Yeah.
That's Dumbledore.
He makes us think about good and evil, about the choices we make and what happens because of them, and through it all, there's this thread of love for his friends, for the world, even with all the loss he went through. It's kind of hopeful, actually.
Yeah, totally. So to everyone listening, what do you think? How do you feel about Dumbledore now? This whole deep dive, did it change your mind about him? Let us know, because this is a conversation that doesn't really have an easy answer.
Thanks for listening to Mythos AI. Stay tuned for more concise insights. And remember to hit the like button and subscribe for future episodes.